programs coming up in March. One of the big ones is our poetry contest. It's our third annual poetry contest. It is now open to adults and teens. It was previously just a teen program, so adults, you are now more than welcome to participate as well if you enjoy writing poetry. There are prizes for our winners, and that will run March 15th to April 15th to celebrate National Poetry Month in April. We're also celebrating Women's History Month with two very special programs. One is By Necessity and by Choice, which is a women's history visual journey that will take you through some of women's history in the workplace and kind of the climb to shattering or working on shattering that glass ceiling. So it's a really interesting presentation. It's a visual journey with presenter Annette Baldwin. And then we also have a presentation with some New Lenox Chamber of Commerce members, some women business owners in the area will talk about their experience in entrepreneurship, business, and then some of the challenges of COVID and things like that. So we're inviting everyone to join us for that. It's going to be kind of an open discussion forum panel, so you're able to ask your questions to some of our presenters, and they cover a variety of fields of work. So we're really excited to host some of our community members for that. And if you guys have any other, or if you guys are interested in any of our programs, you can register on our website. I can post the link in the chat. But that is about what I have. So I am going to turn it over to Jill, Patrick, and Pam to introduce themselves and get started on our presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Clarice. Good evening, everyone. I believe you're here tonight to hear about high demand jobs in the local job market, and we're gonna start with introductions and get into that. So I'll turn it over to Pam.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pam Rodriguez. I'm a career planner at the Workforce Services Division of Will County, which is located in Joliet. I've been there for 8 years. I have 15 years of experience writing resumes and helping job search candidates look for employment. And I have a bunch of certifications there. But one of the ones that I use the most is my certified professional resume writing. And everything I do at the center is to help people find employment. That is kind of a catch-all for everything. And then I'll talk about all of our services in detail later on. Okay, Patrick?
Yeah, so I'm Patrick Call. My name is Patrick Call with JJC. My title is Employer Relations Coordinator. So I work with a scholarship program out of workforce development and or workforce education. And I place students in internships, help prepare them for their future careers, get them prepared for the workforce and so forth. Excited to be here with you all.
And hi, everyone. I'm Jill Gears. I'm a career pathway coach at Joliet Junior College at the main campus. And I've been with the college over 6 years now, but I do have a background in human resources, sales, and higher education, academic and career advising, along with a master's in higher education administration. Also the president of the Illinois Community College Career Services Professionals Consortium, which is a long title. We call it the IC3SP, and we are going to be having a virtual statewide job fair that's going to be coming up on April 9th. And so if you have any interest in attending a virtual job fair, I know it's a ways out, but it'll be open to community members, and any Illinois employer is welcome to participate too for hiring. So I have multiple certifications as well, but I do use my CPRW and bring that to provide presentations both here on campus and in the community. And last month I did a presentation for the New Lenox Library where we talked about resume writing, and I think Clarice has that recorded. If any of you are interested, you're welcome to request that from her.
Thanks, Jill. So I'll go ahead and get things started for us. Again, I'm Patrick Hall with Workforce Development out of Joliet Junior College. Our department was recently renamed Workforce Education. That is because we're comprised of workforce development and adult education. So workforce development, simply put, connecting education and training with local industry. And then some of the services provided are encompassed by both of those departments, workforce development and adult ed. So some of these services are either or both, so GED attainment, ESL or English as a second language classes, training and assessments, scholarship programs, and more. Okay, slowly. So I would be remiss if I were to come on to a high growth, high demand discussion and I failed to mention and shamelessly plug our Connect Your Future Scholarship Program. So bear with me, it is relevant, but it's a great program that assists young adults into entering the workforce. And the caveat is that they have to enroll in what's considered high growth occupations. So we'll get more to that in a minute. But Connect Your Future program offers financial assistance, pays for all books, fees, supplies, and equipment during your occupational training, as well as work readiness skills, job placement assistance, academic tutoring, paid internships, and other on-the-job training opportunities. Okay, again, the scholarship program is eligible to students between the ages of 18 to 24. Again, intended to assist young adults into entering the workforce. So you must be in that age bracket. You must live in Will County, have your high school diploma or equivalency, and then again, pursue that occupational training in what's considered high growth, high demand industries. In addition to that, this program is created to serve and assist young adults that maybe would have more difficulty into entering the workforce. So you must also document one of the following barriers. So either low income, part of the justice system, having a documented disability or IEP, parenting youth, homelessness, or foster child or ward of the state. Okay, so breaking down that high growth, high demand industry list, again, when a student is deemed qualified and they want to enroll in this program, they have to enroll in what's considered high growth, high demand occupations of Will County. What does that mean? It means there's a lot of job openings in these fields each year. This program is designed to get young adults into the workforce. And again, simply put, workforce needs employees and young adults need career opportunities. So that this is a great program to help bridge those gaps. It's broken down into 4 sectors. You can loosely refer to it here. I can get a flyer with a little more clarity on it after the presentation if it's hard to see. But we have 4 sectors here: healthcare, manufacturing, professional, financial, and IT, and then transportation, distribution, logistics. And then there's a variety of career pathways and career pursuits that students can go into each respective sector. And then each year, this list is determined by the Will County Investment Board. They take a lot of analytics into consideration to determine this list each year, and it can change. I imagine there will be some alterations with COVID down the line. So a couple examples of different career paths you would see in these various sectors: healthcare, anything from certified nursing assistant to medical assisting, medical admin, medical coding. Manufacturing includes all of our machine operating, industrial maintenance. Welders are a big job and career pathway that we have students pursuing, and I hear all the time about how much welders are needed, especially in Will County. Professional, financial, IT, that encompasses a few more, obviously, but it encompasses your IT programs, your computer programming, database administration, as well as your website development, but some of those other professional pathways like accounting or tax prep. Then finally, transportation, distribution, logistics. You could get your CDL training, become a truck or delivery driver, automotive repair and mechanics, diesel equipment operators, bus drivers, and more. So that's a quick snapshot at some of the various pathways in these high growth fields. Okay, so obviously we are dealing with a global pandemic that's going to have an effect on the local workforce, local, federal, national workforce, everything involved. You see positive and negative impact here. Obviously, I'm not saying there's been much positivity to draw on from COVID, but you did notice in certain industries where jobs are posting more frequently. So healthcare, for example, has 60,000 jobs posted. Obviously, that makes sense. We need our healthcare frontline workers. And there's a lot of demand for extra nurses, extra healthcare staff in general. And then you also see transportation warehouse positions posting about 50,000 jobs. So that, again, transportation warehouse, we're shipping a lot more things. There's a lot of more logistics need to be considered. People are leaving their house less and less. And I notice if anybody else have gotten shipped things throughout the pandemic, you've noticed a lot of those delays, because I think there's just a lot of work being done, and there's obviously some blips, but yeah, you see there that there are jobs in industries that have more jobs posted than usual. And then you also have that negative impact. So leisure and hospitality have about 4 million jobs lost. Again, not as many people traveling, staying in hotels during an emergency, and government jobs, over 1 million jobs lost there as well. Couple additional benefits of the Connect Your Future program. You get a case manager and some advising services. Again, my role with the program is this paid internship opportunity piece. So I'm out making connections with local employers and having opportunities available to some of these students or all of these students in the scholarship program to get some of those, some of that work experience to pair with whatever they're enrolling in training in. In addition to that, they also are eligible to receive work readiness courses where they learn more about resume writing, soft skill development, and more. There's also incentives just for attending classes and/or workshops. So again, a lot of great perks to this program. If you notice yourself, or if you have anybody close to you that may be interested, the pursuit is submitting an eligibility screening, attending an info session. So I'm kind of giving an abbreviated info session here just because it's not the sole topic tonight. But there is a little more info. If this is something that piques your interest or family or friends' interest, please send them our way. I will show some contact information briefly. Again, that info session, we have a few sessions coming up in March, quite a few actually. So if you're interested, attend one of these virtual info sessions, you sign up, it'll be hosted through a similar platform than you're doing tonight, either on Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And you come on and you learn more information about the scholarship, more details about eligibility, and so forth. So again, you can contact us. I put Danielle Watson's information here just because she handles most of our eligibility and general information on the scholarship. So please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or if you'd like to get signed up for any of those info sessions. Then I also have a link to our workforce development page, as well as give us a follow on social media. So I will pass it on to Pam Rodriguez, and if there's any questions at the end, we'll take some time at the end of the presentation.
Hello again. So when I work for Workforce Services Division of Will County, what we have is the Workforce Center of Will County. So it houses many different cohort of community groups and partners. So the next slide will talk about each of those partners, just so you kind of get an idea of the partnerships that we have at the one-stop center. So it is an integrated workforce system. We're trying to provide all the different services that people will need to not only find employment, but to help those that are job searching and go past any of those barriers that they might have. So we have the Workforce Division of Will County, that's me. We have Illinois Department of Employment Security. Most people call them the Unemployment Office. We do have a couple of employees housed with us. And we have the Illinois Department of Human Services for the Division of Rehabilitation Services. And then Joliet Junior College, we have an advisor that is housed with us. So even though right now with the pandemic, not everybody is there, we still provide all the services virtually. So this is just something I like to kind of spread the word that we do have all of these agencies kind of at our disposal. So that helps out a lot because a lot of people that we work with are on unemployment. So if they need additional assistance, we can have our contact call them quickly versus the 800 number. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started about what services that we have. So the resource room, this recently opened up. I was excited to hear that you no longer have to have an appointment. So you could come in. We do have the door locked. It's a ring doorbell because we want you to make sure that you have a mask on and everything. So the resource room, this is one of our popular services that we have. In the resource room, there's computers for you to create your resume. There's people out there that can help with writing your resume. Of course, job search information. So I know when I worked in the resource room, a lot of times you're putting in an application and you need a second set of eyes to help you get through that process. You have access to job search websites. You could also use a copier, fax machine, or any other career resources. So as long as it is job search related, you're able to do that in the resource room. We're located at 2400 Glenwood Avenue, a couple blocks from St. Joe's. I know it's a different name, but I still call it St. Joe's. The hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. And come out and visit us because that's, like I said, that's one resource that has just opened up. I know the libraries are open and they provide computers and stuff, but sometimes they get overwhelmed with resumes and putting in applications. So that's why we're here. All right, so one of our other large programs that we have is training. And this is why I'm second. Patrick covered all of those in-demand areas. That's what our career scholarship does. We use the same form, the same guidelines, the same list throughout the Will County area. So the career scholarship, it's for customers who meet the eligibility guidelines. So low income based on your family size or dislocated worker. So if you're receiving unemployment, doesn't matter if your spouse is working, you could be qualified for the career scholarship. And this really gives an advantage to people that are out there looking for employment. Like I'll take, for example, our CDL. CDL is huge right now with us, CDL and IT. So maybe you're in IT, you need additional certifications, that costs money. That's something that we would be able to cover. So the scholarship covers the tuition fees, books, uniforms, tools that are necessary for you to train in that in-demand occupation. I do have the website at the bottom there, the jobsforpeople.org website. You choose job seekers and then training, and both of these programs will come up. So can we go back one more? Let me talk about the on-the-job training program. So on-the-job training is it's a little bit different. So career scholarship is specifically for going to school, whether it's a different type of training like CDL, a trade school, or Joliet Junior College. But on the job training, what it does is it connects you to a job in the high demand area. And the employers are expected to provide you training for that position. So for example, we have a CNC operator. That's one of the positions that are in demand for us that we have openings for. You can go in not having any manufacturing experience, and the employer will train you for this position. So you are actually earning an income. It has to be a full-time position. We have a wage requirement and everything while you're learning those new skills. So the on-the-job training, definitely if you're interested in, just getting that connection, Cleo and Tiana, they run that program and they're really good. And even if they're not connected with that employer, it's good to reach out to them because Cleo has lots of connections, whether they have a contract with them for the on-the-job training or not. She's more than happy to help the job seekers out. Okay, next slide now, Joe. Sorry. Thank you. Our mobile workforce center is kind of like the resource room on wheels. The one thing that is a lot different is obviously that is the picture of it, the orange bus, you can't miss it. But the one difference is it goes throughout Will County. So we have a schedule there, the jobsforpeople.org. Because Will County is so large, it visits Wilmington, Plainfield, the New Lenox and Frankfort area, and then University Park in Bolingbrook. So every day they're at a different location, But like I said, you could do the same things. Dave, who drives the Mobile Workforce Center, he's a certified professional resume writer, so he's very capable to assist you with your resume. There's computers on there. You can make copies of your resume, and it is also wheelchair accessible. Okay, go ahead. Next. All right, our job board and resume gallery. I just actually had to look up some information on our job board. There are 50 employers, 50 unique employers that have positions posted on the job board, and almost 200 unique job titles. I shouldn't say 200 job titles that are posted. Two of the large ones that have just posted at Amazon, they're looking for 2 different locations, 500 and 600 people each. So there are literally thousands of jobs available in Will County. So take a visit at the jobsforpeople.org website. Their job board is right up there at the top, and you click on it. I have a screenshot of it there. You can look at the job titles, the industry, and the different work types. You can do all those different searches. And then we have our resume gallery. So I like to always talk about the resume gallery because it's a passive job search, which means you post your resume and the employer can contact you. The only people that have access to the resume gallery are the employers that have positions posted. So they have to have a position posted to get access to the resume gallery. It is very user-friendly. That was one of the things when we were setting up the website, I requested it has to be user-friendly. So just ask for a few things. Then once you submit your resume, I review your resume, make sure that it's okay, like there's nothing crazy going on with the resume. And then it gets posted. And then the employers, when they post a job, they'll take a look at the resume gallery. And so you could get a call from any of the employers, which is, like I said, which is awesome because sometimes we miss those job postings and things like that. And the other thing with our job board, our social media, we post all of our jobs on our social media sites. So if you follow Workforce Center of Will County, when they put up, let's say the new, where it says new assembler 1, it'll come in your news feed. And so once again, that's going to just help the job search process a lot easier. Okay, go ahead in the next one. We have the job search workshops. Those are all virtual because of the pandemic. So I do Facebook Live. I'm one of the presenters for the workshops topics. I do all the job search ones. And then we have some other partners that fill in with the other workshops. But some of the ones that we have is conducting an effective job search, resume writing, interviewing, networking, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, and then LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually set up as 2 series, as a beginning, and then the second one a little bit more advanced. So you could check out that schedule on our page, and then also all of those are saved as well. That's one nice thing about the Facebook Live. Sorry, Jill, I keep giving you miscues here. Go ahead, we can go ahead to the next one. There we go. So I wanted to talk about, because I work heavily with the resume writing portion of the center. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about the top 10 skills that are in demand. So this is from recent information throughout the state that these skills are in demand. So we have customer service, scheduling, sales, budgeting, customer contact, retail industry knowledge. And that retail industry knowledge, it comes into play with our warehouses. So not many, as most people know, the stores are closing, but we have a lot of warehouses and we still need to have that retail industry knowledge. Project management, cleaning, repair, and patient care. And I'm sure we all look at it and we're not surprised by those skills. But the one thing you have to realize is that these skills are transferable. So customer service, it comes in many forms. And now we can transfer our customer service skills into other areas for our career paths. And so these are in demand. And so I always want to make sure that we're capturing that on our resume if we have these skills and the next job is looking for those skills. Okay, go ahead, next one.
Sorry guys, I think my my keyboard is like dead, so I'm trying to like change it with my mouse.
Oh, there you go. You got
Okay.
it.
Sorry.
That's
Having some trouble over here. I don't know what's going on.
So I do want to talk a little bit about my partners here. I probably could do this all in my sleep, but so the Illinois Department of Employment Security, like I said earlier, a lot of us refer to it as the unemployment office, but they do a lot more than that. They do some job search assistance, labor market and career exploration. They also have Illinois Job Link. Illinois Job Links has a job board in there as well. They provide services for veterans on a priority service. They actually have dedicated staff to veterans. They assist youth that are 16 to 24 years of age, migrant, seasonal workers, and they have an ex-offenders program. They also will assist with online unemployment insurance claim. And that's really huge. I mean, I know right now during the pandemic, they actually, in our meeting today, they were talking about how they're playing catch up because of all the craziness that went on because there's so many people filing for unemployment. And so that, like I said, that gives us that advantage as a workforce center that we can direct someone to you and get you that help versus, like I said, calling that 800 number. I've heard on the news such horrible stories, and I'm like, just call me. I'll have someone call you. But so definitely the Illinois Department of Employment Security, they're an integral part of our service that we offer. And then Joliet Junior College, we partner with them with a lot of things. And as you can see, a lot of our programs, they kind of overlap. So at Joliet Junior College, you have to be a student or registered, whereas the Workforce Center is open to the public. So that's where the big difference comes in. So we provide referrals to Joliet Junior College for adult ed and the literacy program. So for high school equivalency or GED classes, academic advising, basic skills assistance. They have the early school leavers transition program, ESL, so English as a second language classes, volunteer tutor training and placement, and enrollment assistance for JJC classes. Because our career scholarship, a lot of our career scholarship people go to Joliet Junior College. So we have a specific person that would register them for their classes and make sure that they stay on track for their program. Then we have the Illinois Department of Human Services, the Division of Rehabilitation Services. It's a mouthful. And once again, they provide a lot of the same services as we do as a workforce services. However, they specialize with people that have disabilities, especially people that are blind or visually impaired. They provide that one-on-one training that you might need. And they also help give services for high school students that have disabilities to assist them in that transitioning from high school to secondary education and employment. So this is a service that I think is kind of hidden, and we need to make sure that everybody knows about, just because sometimes it can be difficult for those that have a disability or, to find job placement and stuff. I know we've worked with many people together, cohortly work with different customers to help them find employment. And our additional services, a lot of these brought on by the pandemic. So the resume reviews, we've always done resume reviews. We just do things a little bit differently. Instead of the one-on-one, we have to do it virtually, over the phone, through email. So the resume reviews, there's 10 certified professional resume writers in our office. So we kind of rotate of who takes a look at resumes. And then if they need assistance, they usually come to me if they kind of don't know where to go. So it's really cool, because if they're not sure, meaning any of the certified professional resume writers, we all get overwhelmed with some of the resumes. We have our coworkers that we can lean on for additional advice. And then we have our mock online interviews. We can use any of the platforms that are listed here: Zoom, FaceTime, or Skype. Those are the typical ones. Typically we use Zoom, but instead of doing the mock interview in person, now it's online, which is critical because a lot of companies are doing these virtually. So that is an option for you to schedule. And then we have virtual career plans. So career plan just helps make sure that you get on path to your next career. So basically all the steps to help through job search, to send you to school, things like that. So the career plan, we do that virtually as well. And this is our contact information. Once again, we're located at 2400 Glenwood Avenue in Joliet. Our phone number is 815-727-4444. You could dial 0 to get to the operator. If you have other questions, or if you want to reach out to me, just call that number and they'll be able to forward you over to my line. Then we have our email. Like I said earlier about the resume reviews, you can email your resume to here and ask for a resume review, and we could do it all online, which is really good because some people are a little bit shy about coming in, or maybe you already have a job and you're trying to look for something better, and so you only have, in the evening to do this. So send it on over, careerservices@jobsforpeople.org. And then that's also the same email that you would use to request a mock online interview as well. All right, Jill, take it over.
Okay, fingers crossed I can do this with my mouse because my keyboard is apparently on break. So as I said before, I'm Jill Gears. I work at the main campus of Joliet Junior College, and I just want to make sure that you know that JJC has a lot to offer job seekers, whether you're, currently already a degreed person. So it's really your community college. It's your college and it's your journey, and we're just here to help you, reach your next goal for whatever that looks like. So we obviously offer degrees, but the main thing that we're going to, take a look at together tonight is really the occupational training and the skill building. And sometimes that might look like a certificate, that might look like even just a class and just general introduction to a new skill. So that's really my goal in following up with, the high demand jobs in our area that Patrick and Pam have really shared so comprehensively with us. But one thing that a lot of people don't know is that JJC has many locations. I think everyone's familiar with our location on Humboldt, and I think secondary people tend to know about City Center campus and know about Romeoville, but we also have a Frankfurt Education Center, a Morris Education Center, and then we have a Wettendorf Agricultural Center over on Laraway. And then we offer classes in several of our high schools and high school partners as well. So that's one thing I just wanted to, put out there. A lot of locations, some which may be closer to you than you think. I keep using my keyboard. Here in the Career Services Center at JJC, what we really do is our whole goal is to provide professional development. And professional development can look at different, for everyone, depending on what their needs are. But obviously, our hope is to primarily focus on helping students, alumni, and community members continue to enhance their career and employment success. And so we're here for you. If you have ever been in the JJC system, so you've taken a class here, recently, or maybe it was back in the day, you're still considered an alum and have access to all of the services that we provide here in this department. We do also work with explorers who are trying to figure out what they'd like to do. Maybe they're undecided or a career changer. And then internships are all housed here in career services, student employment, as well as all of the job search assistance services, much like workforce services and workforce development. And our office is at the main campus. We are in the A building, but we're primarily conducting everything virtually as well due to COVID. So I always recommend, if you're trying to reach us, start with email. That's the best way to connect for now. And I think everybody thinks of JJC as a transfer school, right? We know students tend to go here for the first 2 years and then they, transfer on for a bachelor's. But like I said, I really want to talk or introduce you to the career and technical education here at JJC. So career and technical education is, again, very, very skill specific. So the goal is, you're going to learn this, and then that's measurably marketable for our local and regional employers. And so let's look at what some of those are called. We have the Associate of Applied Science. So that would really be like the highest degree that you could achieve within a specific career or technical degree, program, or major. And then we have the Certificate of Achievement. And those tend to run right around 30 credit hours, which is about half of the degree. So the Associate of Applied Science degree is measured by credit hours. And I would say most classes probably are 3 credit hours, but there's some that are more and some that are less. The Associate of Applied Science is somewhere in the mid-60 mark. So let's just say 64 to 67 credits for the Associate of Applied Science. The Certificate of Achievement is going to run in the 30 credit hour, and then the Certificate of Completion can be 12 credit hours, 18 credit hours. So it's very manageable. It's not like a tremendous expense, nor is it a very high, like a long period of time. One of our newer programs that falls into the certificate is our medical assisting program. So our medical assisting program is a 1-year program, and that is definitely considered a high demand field. In fact, it was on a previous slide, and I was like, oh. And then we also have, our corporate and community services, which is really our one-stop shop for providing even what you would call even probably shorter term training, but very skill-based. And essentially how that works is there's really just employers lined up. They're just waiting on the other end for candidates who have mastery of certain skill sets. And that's really, I think, probably the most simplistic way to discuss how those trainings come to be and how they come and they go, right? So one of the other things we'll talk about in a minute is how we eliminate programs and we eliminate certificates when we don't have gainful, excuse me, we don't have gainful employment outcomes that are continuing on. Oh, come on, mouse, help me out here. Okay, so with corporate and community, those classes are not college credit, but they boost your marketable skills. And so I just wanted to give you a peek at what some of those look like. Again, I am piggybacking and kind of repeating a little bit of what Patrick and Pam shared, but you can kind of see the list. And this list is just stuff that I pulled this week. So this is ever changing. In fact, the last time I looked at corporate and community courses, there were some differences, and I think we're going to see a pretty significant difference as well as we respond to COVID and the changes in the economy. But this is current. So these are available for you to increase your skills and hopefully increase your ability to pay bills, right? There's the website if you want to check that out yourself. Okay, so kind of back to what I just touched on. JJC is obviously a public community college, so we are required to provide our customer base and our community base, our taxpayers, with gainful employment disclosures. So you have access to this to see exactly what it is that our educational programs lead to and what that looks like, from an occupation standpoint, as well as just outcomes and salary and things of that nature. So I pulled this right off of one of the JJC web pages, and our website is completely open to the public. So if this is something that you'd like to learn more about, you have access to this in the website. It's there at the bottom of the slide. And the collection of information in relationship to gainful employment is really influential in sustaining, in adding and subtracting certificates or even single classes. So as we see growth and change in industries, whether it's a very minute or micro change, or perhaps the elimination of an entire occupation due to advancements like artificial intelligence and automation, the college is required to respond accordingly based on the regional labor market. And with that, you'll see that things are ever changing. So if you go back to my day, like when I was a college student many moons ago, medical assisting was a program at JJC, and then it went away. And when I came to work at the college about 6.5 years ago, I remember saying, I thought JJC had medical assisting, and they said, no, the program was eliminated. The market was saturated. And in addition to Joliet Junior College, there were several other private institutions that were offering medical assisting degrees and certificates. And so there's tons of medical assistants and not enough jobs, and we dissolved the program. And then right after I said that, I started hearing that there were petitions for medical assisting to come back to JJC. And I was so curious, so I kind of followed that process a bit. And wouldn't you know, I think it was about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, maybe Pam or Patrick can give me a nod because I might be a little off on my timing, but we did roll out our medical assistant program once again. It's a 1-year program. And within that, our students are then ready to go to work in that occupation. And we responded to the regional demand. What that means is basically hospitals and healthcare systems came to JJC and said, hey, we need you guys to put this program back. Either there's not enough medical assistants coming out regionally, or their quality of the medical assistance that we're receiving is not adequate. So we need higher performing medical assisting applicants. And so we're asking JJC. And so it was a several-year process, and now that is returned. And so many things come and go, and that's all in response to the regional demand and the ability to prove gainful employment outcomes. So I just want to share that. Still trying to use my keyboard that is dead. Okay, another thing that I want to introduce you to, if you haven't used this before, is the Occupational Outlook Handbook, which is just a website that's hosted, or I guess the parent website for the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And this is just a little, like a picture of the website itself, but I'm giving you guys the site. Be careful when you type this in because it likes to kick off that OOH. If you don't have that OOH at the end, you'll just end up on the Labor and Statistics site. You won't actually get into the handbook. You want to make sure you're in the handbook. But once you're in the handbook, one of the things you can look for is the 10-year projection, or the demand essentially. So I just took like a quick picture of one of the occupations. Oh, I'm so sad. It was administrative services and facilities managers. I'm like, I thought I had the title, but I guess because it was lowercase, I wasn't seeing it. So this is the title of an occupation. It's called administrative services and facilities managers. And they're looking at about a 10-year projection. So we're going off of data from 2019. We're looking all the way to 2029, and we're looking at the change. And a lot of people get hung up on the percentage, right? It's a 6% increase, but that doesn't really tell us much. What I like to point out is really the number of jobs. So you're looking at about a 10-year projection and a total of 21,000 jobs. Now, the thing that's important about this website is this is a national number. So this is not like regional. This isn't Will County. It's not Chicagoland. It's not Illinois. So that 21,000 over 10 years is about 2,000, jobs a year, right? But then we don't know where those are. And so to get really specific, the website does allow for you to explore a little bit further. But it is a good resource. And the main thing that I think it's helpful with is looking at the highest demand jobs And also looking at jobs that are projected to see a decline in or even a decrease. So you'll see a lot of these projections go into the negative, unfortunately, for jobs that we just are not in need of any longer in the United States anyway. But I snagged some of the highest demand jobs just by number. So all of these jobs had over 50,000 projected openings over a 10-year span. And I just thought it would be kind of neat for you to see it on a national level, following up and seeing if there's a lot of similar correlation between what's going on here in, in our region and locally. So again, all of this, you're welcome to check out yourself on the Occupational Outlook Handbook. I also occasionally will check out US News and World Report because they really love to share their lists. They're big list publishers. And one of the lists that they share annually, or even sometimes semi-annually, is just the fastest growing jobs in America. And this is the most recent publication of the highest demand or the fastest growing jobs in America. And I just grabbed like a few, but they gave 15, and then you can even look at the 100 if that's something of interest. And there's a lot of variance here, levels of education from a personal carry that might not necessarily even have a specific requirement or a credential all the way to, physician's assistant, which we know is a master's degree and also competitive to get into. So US News and World Report can tend to be, oh, now what's happening? Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, guys. I'm having some major buyer's remorse that I was the one willing to manage the PowerPoint because it's not going as well as I'd hoped. Let's see if we can get back to where we are. Okay, I lost my last slide. So, again, the future of work it's a little scary, right? Because we're up against, number one, what the economy is going to look like in response to COVID. Number two, what is it looking like from a change from working in brick and mortar environments to working from home? I think that we can anticipate that with COVID and with being stuck at home for going on a year now, many of us, that we'll probably see a shift what we're in the workplace, right? I think you can anticipate an increase long-term in working from home. And that may be a good thing for your future work and life, and it may be something that, causes fear and stress. Ultimately, all we can tell you is that connecting with entities like Workforce, both of the workforce partners that are with us today, your local community colleges, wherever you are, we are truly a resource to help you navigate the world of work. And so, instead of going off into private, paid services for stuff like this, we always want to encourage you and let you know that as members, if you are ever underemployed or unemployed, we're a resource and we're all here to help. And, we love nothing more than seeing students and our community members succeed and just increase their career outcomes and their job satisfaction. So that's what we're here to do. We've got a little bit of time left, it looks like, and hoping that you guys may have had some questions in the chat, or if anybody would like to ask some questions, we'd be available to answer those.
It doesn't look like there was any questions in the chat yet. If anybody has any questions, feel free to post them. I know I posted some of the links to some of the websites that were mentioned throughout the presentation. But Jill, would you be willing would you be okay if I sent out that PowerPoint like I did with the last presentation again?
Absolutely. I'll be happy to save it and send it to you in your email as an attachment, and you're welcome to share that with any of the attendees. We'd love for you guys to have that information. Would just ask that you respect it as our intellectual property, and ask that you not share it other than for your personal use.
Awesome. And I know I had a question for you, Jill. One of the things you mentioned was you were talking about the career and technical certificates and that associate degree. Do you know off the top of your head some of the fields that are covered under some of those degrees?
It's wild. Like we have the list is just absolutely huge. So some of the work that I do personally is I work with the undecided students, and I always want to make sure I bring their attention to, here's, the transfer degrees, which I feel like, again, most traditional students come to JJC thinking I'm going to go to JJC and transfer on, right? And I'm going to go on for a bachelor's. But I always want to bring their attention to this very long list of Associate of Applied Science and both certificates. If you would like me to try to, share, I can try to share my screen and show, you and the those of you guys that are with us today, where those are on the JJC website and how you could, kind of look through and see if anything interests you. And then obviously when I share that PowerPoint, like for corporate and community and some of the more specialized trainings, I did provide the website to get the link to get directly to those.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can share my screen again and bring you to the, let's see, where'd my share go? I want to see if I can just bring you guys to the homepage of the Joliet Junior College website. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so this is just our homepage, jjc.edu, and there's a few ways that you can look up what JJC can offer. I think one of the most popular ways that people like to look through our programs is to go into academic interest, and academic interest is laid out in a kind of a lovely way because it's alphabetical, and if you don't really know what you're looking for, you can just kind of scroll and click, and that's a great way to look. But it's not a list, and I like a list. So one of the ways that I will get into that career and technical list is I will just go into our catalog. And when I get into the catalog, sorry, I got to keep moving you guys around. So when I get into our catalog, I go down here, if you can see my mouse kind of on the right, and I jump into the CTE. So that CTE is the Career and Technical Education. And that is where you'll find, oh, hey, just in case you're looking for a transfer program, here it is. But really, this is the master list and the ever-changing list. And anytime you see an AAS, you'll know that that's actually the degree program. And then anything else should be listed as a certification. So it's really long. If you guys can see me scrolling, I'm scrolling and I'm only at C. So I think there's like 180. I don't know. I lose the number sometimes. There's just so much training available. But let's just take a look at one really quick, just to give you an idea of what it means when it's a skill based. So if we look at, say, like operations engineering certification, it takes us to a little bit more information. And then there's actually a completion guide. So hopefully you guys are coming with me as I click through here. The completion guide, let's see what we got here. Maybe I can blow this up a little bit. So to complete this particular certification, you can see that it's a 41-hour cert. So I told you guys it was in the 30s. I apologize. Apparently there are some that go into the 40 credit hour marker. And then it divides it up by semesters. And it does that for a couple of reasons. Some of it which is prerequisite requirements. And some of it is because we assume if you're doing a certificate, you're probably working or busy or, have a family. And so you might not be available to do 5 or, so classes at a time. But the completion guides for each certification and degree should be available on the JJC website. And I really think that's a neat way to shop the college's, offerings, and then also look, okay, what would I need to do? And I love that I just randomly picked that one primarily because you could see that there was a pretty significant pre-calc class. And so for somebody like me that was really not strong in math, that would have probably, I probably would have right there been like, not the back to the drawing board. So knowing your aptitudes and knowing your interest and knowing your time frame is really helpful. So I hope that was hope that answers your question.
Excellent. Patrick, did you see the question for you in the chat?
Yeah, so I wish it was a simple answer. I know the income thresholds can be fairly complicated and much lower than you would expect. But if you qualify for food assistance, at one point it was food stamps, I think it's TANF now. If you qualify that, you automatically qualify for that low income. But I would encourage you just to give our office a call and discuss it a little more. And Pam might even be able to chime in too because of the low income qualifications on her end. Might be similar.
Yeah, that's usually what I go by, the link card, because we take into consideration not only your income, but the family size. So that, like you said, Patrick, it gets a little bit crazy. But definitely if you're receiving unemployment, because low income is not always the only qualifying factor. Just like Patrick said, if you're interested, give us a call. The worst we could say is that you're not eligible. Okay, but at least give us a call so that way you can pursue those programs for sure.
Thanks, Pam.